Welcome, travelers. Hot, lean, and full of beans. I'm Cameron Holt, and I'll be your dungeon master for the evening. I'm joined by the frightful Arcana crew. Introduce yourselves, Arcana crew.
Okay.
Anyone can go.
Oh my god, she's just like us. I'm Kitty.
Is she you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got butter for fingers.
Taylor Higginbotham.
Currently a pixelated anomaly floating in the cosmic abyss. Josh Hitchens.
Here to remind you to spay and neuter your pets. Samantha.
Wonderful. Well, before we begin, we've got some announcements to get through, so without further
Get through
ado,
'em.
Taylor, tell them about our sponsors this
Our
evening.
sponsors this evening are thegildedrogue.com. It's a merch site that
We're
has
still
merch
only on me.
it.
There we go.
It has all the stuff that you need to wear things on your body and also on your furniture. If you buy something, they plant a tree. So go to thegildedrogue.com and buy a forest of merch. Our other sponsor this evening, and every evening, is More Fun Comics and Games. Did that change? It did. It's our local comic book shop. They sell comics and paint and minis and all the things you need to be a nerd. And the customer service there is right there in your face. So you got to go by More Fun Comics and Games. They used to provide our weekly giveaways, and they'll be, I guess, partially involved with our monthly giveaways now.
Yeah.
Check them out online. It'll do you a lot of good.
Join the Discord if you want to be part of the monthly giveaways.
Yeah,
We'll join the Discord for that.
If we haven't already said anything, then we will announce details on that in Discord. So
Yeah.
stay tuned, probably in general chat for that.
General chat.
General chat.
Nice.
Colonel message.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Taylor. Kitty,
Yo.
Patreon.
Yo.
We have it.
We
What does it do?
It's patreon.com/Arcanarama. There's a whole ass podcast. There's exclusive artwork. There's Chaos Hours, which is our sort of like what just happened after every episode. And much more. Go do it if you want to. It helps us also do stuff. Patreon.
It's like taco trunk. What is happening?
Thanks, Kitty. I
I had nachos.
am straight up feeling the beans.
Philippines.
Sam,
Yeah.
what's happening next week?
Next week, June 24th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are doing a Sexy Monster stream. We'll draw them as sexy as you want them within Twitch standards. It will be a fully live stream, so it will not be pre-recorded. We will be right there with you with our faces, with our hands to draw the things. So, if you have suggestions, that's a great place to be. We are raising money for Elevate Access. It's a group of pilots who are getting people who need certain kinds of care that have become difficult to access in certain places to the places where it is less difficult to access. So it's a really good cause. It was suggested to us by one of our viewers, and we appreciate that. So come help us raise money. We did great with the animal shelter. Let's do better now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right now.
And shout out to
we-
Freya for suggesting the charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now what's time is it?
What times it is vibe checks times.
Here we go.
Yeah. So roll them dice.
Don't confuse me.
All y'all in chat, exclaim vibe check.
Let's exclaim vibe check in the chat.
Oh, I kind of miss a new word.
Or DC.
Exclamation fart. Vibe chat.
Vibe chat.
I got a 14 this time.
16.
14.
Nice, nice.
15.
Nice.
9.
Oh,
Nice, not bad,
Oh
not
man,
bad.
it didn't get better.
Still
while
a
we
high
were gone.
average. I'm not going to calculate it this time.
Yeah, last week I was rolling terrible.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a silly one. Whoever the user. Oh, that one's crazy too.
Yeah.
Taylor will be there in the chat.
It's just gonna be you talking to
Oh
yourself.
no, I'm typing one right now. Isn't that crazy? We wouldn't even put that in the chat.
Oh, with all of that out of the way, it's time to figure out what this dragon wants in tonight's episode. Dragon of Arcanarama. Previously on Arcanarama, the Mistwalkers faced a slew of werewolves and werebears within the Delisnia kennels. As the fight raged on, Silas dropped one of the creatures, only to be confronted with the body of a mere man who had been tortured by a curse. Shortly thereafter, Silas was cursed with lycanthropy himself in the struggle. The fight raged on as Cholula called out to Pippin, who started coming to his senses. Wellington attempted to dispel the moon illusion, but failed to make a dent in the major image. Finally, Alma disintegrated a hole in the back wall of one of the cages, causing the majority of the lycanthropes to flee into the true moonless night. They reverted their forms one by one, until all that stood before the Mistwalkers was a group of exhausted men and women with no will to fight. Having recovered Pippin, Cherry, and Almama, the Mistwalkers had completed the challenge they set with Ivan, earning their freedom. As Alma cured both Silas and Pippin of their lycanthropic curses, and as the party discussed the merits of fleeing the mists versus saving those who remained trapped, Ivan appeared. He announced that the Mistwalkers were free to exit through the domain's borders, if they could reach them alive. In the distance, an ancient black dragon approached with haste and malintent. Will the party be able to reach the edges of Borka's domain in time? Will they stand and face the terror that approaches? Find out right now on Arcanarama.
Dragon. Thumbs up.
We pick up right where we left off. As you all stand outside the kennels of the Delisnia estate with a quickly approaching massive black-scaled dragon figure flying through the sky nearby. What do you all do?
I'm just gonna hold my hands out to this version of this guy, and I'm just gonna say, we can bring your sister back.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm gonna restore balance.
Come on, bitch. That's cocked in like 7 different ways.
Cock.
Dice cock.
13.
Can I use Flash of Genius to get +5?
Yeah?
18.
Because that's ability check, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
18.
18. Okay, I'm gonna use our friend. Our lovely friend. I'll hold him in frame so everyone can see what he looks like.
What a friend.
That's our friend. It's our
Look at
skeleton
that friend.
friend. The DC
I
for
feel
this
so
check
happy
is
to roll Flash of
18.
He has a +3 to
Hey,
not
You got
believing
this.
people.
He actually doesn't add anything to this roll,
Nice.
Oh.
so he's got to roll an 18 or higher.
Oh, I thought it was 18 or lower.
Or, sorry, 18 or lower, yes.
Yes. He wants to win.
Right. Okay. The childish visage of Ivan looks at you and raises up an arm, which you see extends unnaturally, like those little, there's, I don't even know what they're called. They're like little extender guys, like little metal,
Telescoping.
yeah,
antennae.
like a telescopic lens. His arm extends, the palm splits and opens, and that you see this little orange queso crystal within that lets this bright flash, not enough to like blind any of you, but you do see in the distance, as that flash happens, the dragon seems to halt for a moment.
Is that a real dragon?
Starts falling.
Is that a real dragon?
No, it's like still beating its
Yeah.
wings, but it's not. There was like a definite like head down coming for you.
Yeah.
But at this point, it, like the head pulls back, the body lurches forward as the wings are keeping it in place. I'm listening.
I just need some time to get some rest, and then we can bring your sister back. But you're gonna have to help. These kinds of things aren't perfect.
Help you how?
You'll need to help us convince her.
You'll need to be there. She's done this before. She's passed before.
One of you make a persuasion check with advantage.
I have 0 charisma.
I know.
That would be a straight roll for
It
Alma.
will be a straight roll. Who
I can try with advantage.
is talking? I feel good about you, but don't fuck me.
Don't threaten it. You can't pick it up and threaten it. You felt good when you picked it up. Put the bad vibes on it.
19.
Very good.
That plus 10 comes in handy.
This time the hand, still outstretched and above, gives off like 3 distinct blinks. And you see as the dragon's figure turns and begins heading back where it came from, as the hand disextends. Distends.
That's a real dragon, right?
Retracts. There it is. All right then. I'll meet you at the family crypt.
We get something in return, though. We get a safe passage out of the mist. And I'm taking this one with me.
If you're true to your word. Are you referring to the dead body?
Mm-hmm.
If you're true to your word, I'll have an escort take you out. Take you to the edges, safely.
Who is the escort? A stone being?
Who would you like it to be? Could be anything you want. Give you something fast to ride on. But if you're lying, or if it doesn't work,
It's gonna have to be the real you.
You have to do some conversating with the other side.
make a deception check.
I'm not lying.
Why would it have to be the real him?
Because he's gonna have to touch her and convince her.
Why couldn't a
It's a
construct do that?
I mean, come on.
I'm not attempting
make an
to
Arcana
lie.
check.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Make an accidental deception check.
17.
17. On a 17 Arcana check, Alma, you realize if Ivan was younger when this girl died, it might actually be more convincing to have a younger version of Ivan present rather than his older self.
That's not the problem I'm getting at here. I'm fine, I'll roll deception.
Okay.
Restore balance.
Fuck yeah. No. Not really.
That's not on that one, though.
It's a 9.
9? Okay. The eyes narrow. I'll return as I was when I lost her.
Fine. But if it doesn't work, I won't take responsibility.
As far as the escort, we do need a night's rest in order for her.
Right. That's agreeable.
A full night's rest.
Of course, I won't play any games. Not with this on the line. Well, rest up. And the figure of this weird little boy, it's like so strange getting such firm responses from a child.
You know, I've talked to children. We don't need to speak while we do this.
That's
That's
true.
kind of how they are.
Very true. He turns, usually when they get to like 8 or 9, they have a little bit more decorum.
That's true.
He turns and instead of skipping off, just toddles away.
Toddling.
Let's get some rest then.
So where do we rest?
Should we go to the cemetery and rest there?
No?
So we're ready?
How far is it?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Jeremy?
it's just on the other side of the house, dears.
Thanks, Mother. I mean, I don't mind where I sleep. I would like to sleep. I don't think anything will stop me from doing so.
I just think we might be less surprised if we get there and there's already things happening.
Right. We do have to determine what our
Yeah.
escort will be, which could also be a game.
I mean,
Does he have any
doesn't-
wind-up mice or something that could escort us? So if it goes sour, it's just a wind-up mouse.
It's just like a little guy.
we could have some of
He did
these
mention
folks
like
escort us.
something that we could ride.
Yeah.
That's true.
It could be good.
Maybe one of those carts, but we just sit on top this time instead of inside.
Do I get the impression that I could when he allows, I could just call the mist from where we're standing? Or do I have to go to a certain point? Do I feel like I have to go to the point that we came in?
You get the sense that not necessarily the point that you came in, but you would have to go to where the barrier of mist exists around the domain.
Okay. Just
You would
making sure.
essentially have to travel to the borders.
Yeah, because the way I was reading the other ability, I didn't know if it was like ethereal step or anything like that.
No, weirdly enough, since you've arrived, and you haven't been here very long, but since you've arrived, there's been like a strange lift in pressure in terms of the mist doesn't feel like it's encroaching on you now. It feels like it's enveloped you and you are where it wants you to be.
So, to the symmetry then.
I think if y'all don't mind, I think that would be a good place.
We could at least rest nearby.
We could set up camp maybe outside the walls.
Sure.
That sounds better.
All right.
You're coming too, Cherry.
Well, yeah, I already agreed to go with you. You've promised me a better life on the other side.
Yeah.
I can assure you it will be a lot more than you're expecting.
I hope you're right. And me Mama leads the way as you go not very far. It's just maybe a couple hundred yards around from the kennels, across the front of the estate, past the strange little cherubic fountain in front, and then past that would be the southern wing. And you come to a low, like, half wall of brick and stone with wrought iron coming for the other half that surrounds just a sea of tombstones and various crypts throughout.
Nice.
It's like a mausoleum.
Yeah, there look like a few mausoleums.
Parked on one of the benches. I could take first watch or
I
first
have a
rest.
feeling, well, probably better not to trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna real quick. Does anybody have like parchment, something to write with?
I think I have paper.
This one usually
Yeah.
does.
I do have paper. And an ink.
I'm gonna just like kind of tuck into myself and write a note real quick and then fold it once the ink dries. I'm gonna fold it and I'm just gonna kind of pass it in a circle to everybody, and it just says, if he doesn't show up as himself, we can't kill him.
Right.
By everybody. The inner group?
Yeah, to anybody who's been like traveling
Okay.
with us.
Maybe it won't have to come to that.
I hope not.
Maybe we just go.
Go.
Maybe we just go.
When we're allowed to go, we go.
We'll see. I need to sleep on it, I think.
Yes. Yes.
You could always, perhaps, if we want to help the others that are trapped here, come back later and work out that situation.
We've already made promises to Mr. North.
He did mention something before about making it so that we can't come back, but I don't think that's part of this new deal, but there may be a way that he blocks us from returning.
It's true,
Yeah.
he could close his domain's doors to specific individuals.
Sounds great. I'm fine with that.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Wellington is like setting out a bedroll. Katya is doing the same.
I'll take first watch if anyone wants to join me.
Cherry just leans up against the wall, kind of crosses her legs.
I don't know much help I'll be, but I'd rather do first watch and then sleep the rest of the night through.
Same.
Pippin is out, already asleep.
Pippin is so tired.
Could I like roll this
Third.
body in a bedroll and put some like belts around it just for like?
Yeah.
So I'm just carrying like a sack.
Oh yeah,
A
for
sack
sure.
of a person.
For sure.
I'm going
People
to
sack.
set an alarm.
Yeah, da, 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 da.
I'm going to cast alarm around us for anybody in or out.
All right. Who's taking first watch?
Silas and Cholula.
Go ahead and make some perception checks. or if one of you wants to roll with advantage, that is also acceptable.
Why don't you do that
Okay.
if you want?
Yeah, I'm just kind of. You're just kind of like wafting
have-
and droning.
I have disadvantage, but I also have panache or whatever, or not panache, reliable talent or
It's a
whatever.
nat 20.
True. Whoa!
Hell yeah, buddy!
Nice.
We're under attack.
I see the future.
Silas, you keeping watch, and night has already fallen. This long rest will basically get you all into, like, the later hours of the morning. Keeping eyes out. On a natural 20, you see there's a forested edge nearby, maybe like 200-300 feet away, of just like a small forested area. And you see the edge of the hedge maze as well on the other side of that. And keeping eyes out, there are a number of beings, creatures, constructs of varying shapes that all just kind of linger with the occasional passing glance. And you get the sense that eyes are being kept on you, but there's no encroaching danger. There's nothing approaches to threaten you. And on that natural 20, I would carry that over to say that Silas gets the sense that what you've promised Ivan is potentially the dearest thing that could exist in the world to him, and he wouldn't risk not getting it, if it is true.
I think I just internalized that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A pack of dogs barks in the distance.
They seem small.
Probably fat.
Puntable. Even. That's an 18. I think I could kick it.
Who's taking second watch?
I'm going to take that long rest.
Go
Yep, I'll
for
do
it. Nice. Howie, Cherry will join you.
Cool.
If you'd like to go ahead and make a perception check.
It's so
So
nice.
just the it would be disadvantage. Right?
I don't even have spells. I was starting to get close on everything.
Mm-hmm.
14.
14? Yeah, you don't even actually notice anything keeping eyes in the distance.
Yeah.
Nothing approaches. It's eerily quiet. Cherry's not very helpful. She seems like she's made herself pretty comfortable,
Okay.
and is kind of just awake with you as a courtesy.
Still very suspicious of Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of watch her at the same time as watching everything else. Why
Yeah.
don't see anything in the distance, right? Yeah.
Correct. She occasionally like makes eye contact with you and like holds it. Goes back to like whittling a little stick with a very like ornate curved dagger that she has.
Seems terrible for whittling.
It really is.
Swords.
Excellent. And final watch. Alma, and we'll say Pippin
Me
is
Mama.
still out, but Katya joins you.
Me.
Me,
Does that mean
Mama.
I can take
I'll
my
keep watch.
long rest?
You get your rest, dear.
Yes, you've had your full rest.
Whee!
As has Katya, which is nice.
I think it only clears one level
Yeah.
of exhaustion.
We'll need to sleep again.
Yeah, so still disadvantage on ability checks, but your movement speeds are no longer halved.
I know, but I'm gonna start screaming soon.
I wish it was in reverse on this.
If it makes you feel any better, when Pippin wakes up, he'll be in the same position you were before you went to bed.
Yeah.
But it's fine
But
because
at
we'll
least
take
we'll
care
have
of
like
him.
our stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
that's true. Right, watch. I was so excited to rest. Ooh, I don't even trust any of my dice anymore. Look what you've done. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20. Similarly to Silas, you notice a number of creatures that appear to be kind of just peering out from the woods nearby, but none of them are making any movements to approach. They're all just watching at a distance.
Do I know enough about this place yet to determine whether or not they're, like, basically, like, cameras? Like, are these...
You get the sense that Ivan can... You don't know exactly how he does so, but he seems to be able to watch through the eyes of his constructs,
Okay,
if not in other ways.
got it. I was just curious.
And as the sun rises behind a sheet of gray clouds and casts a
Like
dour...
a green...
Yeah, casts a dour, sort of greenish, gray hue to the land. You all awaken, finding yourselves slightly more rested than when you went to sleep.
Who all has a ring?
That's a what?
I do.
I think just the three of you and Pippin. And actually, Pippin does not have his ring anymore.
Oh, can I attune to something too?
Yeah, you can attune to up to 3 things during a long rest.
Oh.
Oh, they need their stuff. Pippin had all of his stuff taken.
Something we could negotiate as well.
I mean, I can get new things. It's just things.
Sure.
I guess, but as far as the ring goes,
That
we
item
can't
doesn't
trust
really
that he's
exist.
not listening into things that we say. I mean, until we're,
Right.
10 miles away from him.
Right, I'd imagine the material plane is
I'm
a
gonna...
little further than that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start wandering towards the cemetery.
Yeah, I guess we should find.
If anybody happens to notice a shovel, we might need a couple of those.
Oh,
I can handle
if I
it.
Oh,
see
you
one-
won't need a shovel, dear.
I can.
She's in the family crypts. It's the only grave that we tend to. I can lead you there.
That would be nice.
I think we probably could negotiate for more. I was thinking about it last night. This is extremely important to Ivan. We could get something else out of it, I think.
Like what?
We've negotiated for our safe passage. We could maybe ask for something else.
What,
Maybe just a thought. No conniving.
what
Do the
would we
deed.
ask for?
Did you have something in mind?
I mean, like, it'd be cool if Pippin could have his stuff back.
I have
mean-
a feeling his mind is in other places.
Yeah.
I think asking for the release of all the innocent people of Borka from the domain is quite a tall order.
But he won't be lonely. He'll have his family.
That's true. I guess it will depend on his mood and whether or not this ritual works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just saying, we shouldn't play at games. This means everything to him. All of his wrath would come down on us if we fucked with this a bit too hard.
Even if we don't, if this fails, if for some reason the soul doesn't want to return or can't for some reason outside of our grasp, I would not put it past the man to destroy us on the spot. We know he's got some sort of dragon just waiting in the wings. Pardon my
Constructs.
pun. Potentially.
As we've learned, the constructs aren't that different from the real thing.
For sure, but it's good to know he doesn't have an
I don't know,
actual
he-
dragon under his thumb.
He controls everything else without that flashing light. It might be a real dragon, though.
Right, it seemed like more of a signal than a... like, if you can control other things remotely, why... Perhaps it was to throw us off the scent.
Do you have a way to make the crystal that you found blink? It was 3 times, right? To get the dragon to stop?
I fear landing on this side of my body, much less messing with whether or not I can make it pulse.
How about
How
you?
But no, I do not.
familiar am I with Kesso?
I'd say you are the most intimately familiar with Kesso of anyone here.
If you put electricity through it, does it blow up or does it light up?
It depends on the cut. It needs to be refined and faceted, and a precise amount of electricity needs to pass through it to
Precise amount.
yeah essentially, it in a way almost functions as its own power source. Electricity can be used to control output,
Okay.
but it's a very delicate process.
I'm gonna blow myself up.
And the one I have is like the one I have is cut, right? It's not raw.
Yeah,
Right, because you
it's
pulled
part
it
of
from
a thing.
creatures.
If we could figure out a way to
I've got
try to
I've got,
recreate that signal, then maybe at least we could trick them for a second to like.
I have 3 uses of Kesso. Are any of them refined or is it unrefined? I think it's just like unrefined
Did
Kesso,
you
right?
you scrapped those from creatures, right? Or was that from your time in the mines?
In the mines? Was that from the mines? I think that was from the mines.
I think you're correct, which would mean that's raw Kesso
Okay.
in its most unstable form.
Oh god.
Well, I can make stuff blow
We're
up.
walking around with a landmine.
It grows in this strange, almost similar to a quartz or like a basalt. It has this very like angular facets, but they're seemingly random. And yeah, you're aware that usually to work with it within a machine, you need to cut that and shape it into a more faceted face rather than the kind of like blocks that you're carrying.
Do I know if impact to it makes it blow up too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, follow me, dears. Right this way. Pulls like really creaky wrought iron gate, just kind of like pulls it open. This way, this way. It's towards the back. And me,
How
mama,
big is this cemetery?
big.
Yeah.
It's maybe about the same size plot of land as the estate itself takes up.
Are they all graves, or is it like his kind of like weird, like pet cemetery, or are they like kind of goof graves?
Make an investigation check.
Like this is one of my friends that died in one of my games.
You pass a quartet of singing statues.
Invest
Yes. Shit.
10.
Restart the timer.
I wish it had rolled.
10.
Just kind of landed on 8.
You see a lot of the graves are not even marked with names. Some of them have worn from weathering. It's really in a state of decay that has, like, people are buried here, but their graves are not cared for, it would
Right.
seem.
Would you say I have any like metal wire or anything?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take some wire and wrap around the 3 things of Kessa.
You could take this if you want.
What's that? What's that?
This is not as dangerous as what you're doing. It's the cut Kesso crystal that I pocketed. Yeah. Okay. Maybe put the other ones in a.
I still wrap them wire.
You can add another use to your inventory.
Just be careful with the uncut ones, okay?
I figure I could just heat it up and they blow up, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, they've only destroyed entire mine shafts. So, with one strike of a pickaxe. So, yeah, sure.
Me Mama leads you back to a gray stone crypt, overgrown with vines and lichen. And you can see that the door is actually left cracked open a little bit and is clearly in disrepair. She muscles the door open for all of you and leads you inside.
I am me, Mama.
She's a strong monk, too.
Oh.
You
She's
follow,
retired.
you follow a stone stairway down below ground. Along the walls of the chambers are coffins and sarcophagi that have long been open to the elements. In some areas, bits of bone, forearms, and hands have clearly been pulled free from their resting places and gnawed on by wild animals. Continuing forward, you're met with a crypt that has very clearly not been cared for in many, many years. All except for one tomb. About the size of a small table, the sealed stone container sits at the back wall of the crypt, topped by a bound cluster of blue and violet foxglove flowers, accompanied by a relief carving of a girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, is a nameplate that reads Christina Delisnia, and standing there beside the stone tomb is a young man, maybe 15 or 16, who is very well put together. His hair is just like a light brown, kind of pasted to the side, but very curly and unruly on the edges. So you can see that kind of like pasted comb over, but then like kind of explodes around the edges. Very tall and thin, with spectacles on the tip of the nose, and turns to all of you. Welcome.
Teen Ivan, I presume.
Just Ivan. Thank
Okay.
you.
Whatever you say.
Teen Ivan.
Well, it's not Child Ivan.
Sure.
She's not incorrect.
Teen Ivan.
I should say
Kind of
again,
flows off the tongue.
if this goes wrong, there will be consequences. Could someone help me with the lid?
Silas?
Sure.
Hank?
Make an athletics check with advantage, with the help of Silas and Hank.
Sure.
That's still the package.
It's the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The human sack, as we called it.
Oh,
We can put him in the bag.
The man.
Can we put it in the bag? I feel like the bag is a bad place
it's
to
just
put bodies.
It's a pocket dimension, right?
Cherry speaks up. What's it gonna do? Kill him?
All right.
Like, we shouldn't go in the bag. There might not be air in the bag, but he said it's
There's no air in the bag.
Squeeze.
Athletics check with advantage.
Yes. $23,
23.
24, 15 plus 9. Yes.
Yeah, that's more than enough. With the help of Teen Ivan and and Hank, you all managed
Teen
to
Ivan go.
you all managed to just pull the stone to the side, where it then falls, or rather is set down heavily at the side. And strangely enough, you expect like the smell of death or mold or decay, but there is no scent that comes with it. And looking in, you see almost perfectly preserved is a figure that matches the relief carving of a young girl, probably 6 or 7. She's got curly brown hair with a white bow tied up top. There's just so much of it that, like, even with the little ponytail up top, it goes down past the shoulders. Lying pale and quiet with her arms just clutching a very similar flower to that violet foxglove at her chest, laying down, deceased.
Does she have any like markings?
Yeah, without getting too like involved.
Make a perception check.
That
Dang.
is incredible.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I know, but you rolled a 3 and then followed it up with a 2.
23.
God damn.
Yeah.
Because I have the.
Reliable talent.
Yeah. I'm an expert at perception.
So how's that flavored?
16.
Like, do you doubt yourself briefly? And then you're like, no, I got this. Like, what is-
Well, for some,
It's like-
some checks, I get fucked.
I would say yes. Each of you see that there is this doesn't it's odd enough that this body is like preserved. You don't know if that has to do with the weird timey-wimey bullshit that's going on here, or if it's just the mystical mists doing their thing. But you also notice that it doesn't appear that there was like a funeral and like rites were read. It seems more like, based on the empty tomb next to it that matches Ivan's appearance and has his name on it. This is like a family crypt where, you know, a child is born and they prepare their spot. It was pre-prepared, and the body was placed here.
Was she like in an adult-sized crypt? Because I imagine if they
yes.
prepared, it'd be weird if they're like, just start with a 10 and then maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you
Every
know,
10 years we'll make it bigger.
If it's like medieval times, to be honest, like,
Percentages.
yeah.
That's true. They probably did start with a small one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
like,
it's a small one. But you do see that
You used to have
there's
just like
Just
12
every-
or 14.
It's like, oh, they're past 16. We'll build a
That's why
big
they
one. now.
really started
Yeah.
doing the measurements on the door frame.
Yeah.
Like, how big does the coffin need to be right now?
I've heard it's going to be a cold winter. Let's maybe make it small.
Ooh, famine.
Cholula, you see she's wearing this
Box.
sort of like frilly white or bluish faded to white dress that has these kind of like lacy coils along the sides, like at the sleeves and at the base, sort of like a tiered situation. And in the center, kind of just below the rib cage, almost in like the dead center of the torso, is just a maybe 4 or 5 inch long cut or wound of some kind in the dress, and you can see a wound beneath that never healed.
Okay.
And you get the sense from your perception check that this was someone who died from a single strike, be it on purpose or accidental, and then was placed here.
Okay. Like a save this for later kind of.
Not like
Not
I'm
like
gonna
a
save this for
funeral,
later,
but
but,
like-
but more like I will lay this person to rest. And based on like the state of everything around you, where like crypts are just like open and animals have been in here like pulling pieces of people out,
Yeah.
this one has been like taken care of and visited probably.
Nice.
I'm like
Okay.
Dickens' novel, like holding a kerchief to my mouth when I open the tomb.
Yeah.
It smells good.
So,
And then I go
based,
pick up.
based on the body, I can't assume how long this person has been dead. But I can assume if this is the Ivan that was there versus the Ivan that we met, it's been, I don't know, let's just say more than a year?
Yeah.
Yikes, that sucks for me. Okay.
Expensive.
What does that mean?
I won't be able to cast spells again until I finish a long rest, so
All right.
take care of me.
And how long does the ritual last?
An hour.
Okay. Rather, it takes an hour to cast.
Yes.
Like,
And then she dies again, so just run as fast as you can.
Alma, what does it look like as you begin setting up your ritual for resurrection?
Yeah, so all of the candles, I do
ruin the
that.
moment.
I just get that out. I just blow it over the body.
Smells good.
Kind of beanie.
I'm gonna put the body that we have far away from.
Oh, just in case it
the
gets
streams get crossed.
basically like all around the perimeter of the
what?
crypt.
Oh, right, it's in
I'm
the
gonna
bag.
like light all those candles I usually keep on me.
Yeah. And
Come out of the bag.
in a strange, rather odd for what you have known of the person, act, Ivan is like there and at the ready and ready to be directed and help you in any way that you need.
And I set up almost like a little, you know those like fancy little hard-boiled egg holders, but they're like jewel encrusted from like
Yeah.
rich people stuff.
Where you just like tap
Yeah,
off it.
it's kind of like that, but the facet inside is more for like a diamond, and I go ahead and set the diamond into that at the top of the casket. Isn't really right.
I've just been saying tomb.
I guess.
Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And I will look at Ivan. Do you have anything that was special to her or belonged to her?
Yes. Yes. He reaches into his jacket coat and pulls out a small stuffed white owlbear.
I will take that.
He's like hesitant to hand it to you at first, but hands it over.
And that will go like behind the diamond, almost like it's doing the ritual. So it
Okay.
goes behind the diamond. All right. I don't know your sister, so I can start this, but I won't be able to finish convincing her to come back. So you'll have to try and get the rest of it done.
All right.
And I kind of like move my hands over the candles and they all like go, it's almost like they flicker out and then turn like bluish, like a really light blue in the flame. And the diamond starts to kind of crumble. I was told her name Christine.
That's so canon.
Well, it's on the crypt.
It's so fun.
Alma says that in her head and
like-
looks up and reads the name and is like, oh, right.
This is like my
got the
first
right one.
ever resurrection, so I've been focused on like, what is this all gonna look like and be?
I love that, like all this drama, then like, Christine. It's so good. Hey. Hello from the other side.
So I'm gonna move to where, like the head side, where the diamond and the owlbear are, and I'm just gonna put my hands overneath or over top. Over top of the diamond. Over top of the diamond. And I will go ahead and start the first like persuasion of this, and I will just say, Christine, your brother Ivan is here to try and bring your soul back to your body.
Could I have someone, it doesn't matter who, make a quick luck check?
I'll do it.
This is a wealthy family in a world of magic. I'm gonna say on an 11 or higher, this is the first time that Christina has died. On a 10 or lower, she has died before and been resurrected. So this will be, it'll affect the final DC of this check.
Jeez,
Oh,
7.
man.
It's a rough world, man.
Yeah.
I'm just going to roll the dice and I'm not going to look at it. That's how I feel right now, and I'm just going to do that.
That's a 4.
A 4. Okay. Alma?
I don't remember what the numbers were that he said to us.
11
bad
or
one.
higher,
The
it
bad
was
one
the first time
happened.
that she died.
Great, good for me.
Okay.
So I need to roll a persuasion check.
I think that means she must be used to this by now, right?
It's a new
Yes,
day,
so,
right?
You know,
we
like when you go to the
use-
DMV a lot, you don't really get tired of the lines.
We use similar resurrection rolls to the Matthew Mercer rules, which some of you might be familiar with, for those of you that aren't. There will be 3 checks made where someone can step forward and offer aid in the ceremony. Ivan has already agreed to take the last one, almost making the first one. If anybody else wants to try and help, you can.
Restore balance.
Basically, the way that this works is you tell me what you want to offer or how you would like to offer to help. I'll tell you what roll to make versus a set DC. And on a success, it will lower the final roll DC. And on a failure, it will raise the final roll DC. The final roll is made by me and has no modifiers.
You're
I think I'm gonna, as I'm like doing this and I'm like getting the first one ready, Ivan's agreed to take one and we need one more.
You don't have to have one more, but you can.
Oh, it lowers our DC, right?
Potentially, or raises it.
I'm just gonna look desperately at Howie because he seemed to have the most connection to Ivan, so I'm hoping that maybe
Okay.
something can happen.
Alma, you look to the person here with probably the biggest vendetta against Ivan and plead for help. How does Howie respond?
I'm doing this to Cholula.
I can offer something.
I'm just like, you can see already,
an
like,
altar.
as this has kind of started, like, the energy that's coming is just, I'm sweating. I'm like,
Also, Alma is the only one who woke up this morning and like still looks injured.
I look, fucked. I'm like gray.
Your roll is kind
okay.
of gray. What is that?
That is a
Looks
1.
like a 1.
That is a 1 on the first roll.
For a total of persuasion?
11.
11, okay.
We're gonna die here. Just a heads up.
Dragons aren't underground usually.
Cholula.
Not that one.
So I offer up like a thing.
It can be a thing, you can say something, it can be
Just
anything
threaten
that you
her.
want.
Up to you. And wake the fuck up.
I'm gonna grab the doll that cries when in danger,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna set that kind of at the foot, I guess,
It's screaming.
and tell her this will help you to know when you should hide and when you're safe.
Nice. Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Uh, 25.
Nice.
It's a good roll.
It's a 16 and an 18.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like eat my hands before this is over.
How are you gonna roll?
Ivan steps forward and with a very like sorrowful but maybe hopeful look, he leans in and whispers something into Christina's ear. Okay.
Get up, you little piece of shit.
I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to make the final roll. Do you want to know what the DC is and see the roll or not?
Yeah.
I want to know the
I want
DC.
that.
Okay.
For sure, I'm gonna.
The final
Special.
DC, after a critical failure, but then 2 successes, is back at its baseline of 12 for someone who's died before.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
There are no modifiers for this roll.
Right.
That's not
Going
fine.
to roll my special death die.
I can't see that on the camera.
Yeah, I can't really read that. Even if it shows up.
All right.
On
I'll roll,
no, it's fine.
I'll
It's
roll one
fine.
that
I'm
we
just
can
saying it's
see.
just not
I'll roll
gonna-
one that we can see.
Is that a 13?
That is a 13.
I just threw up in my pants.
That's shitting.
Then I have to go. Because throwing up is fine.
We're allowed to choose kind of the effect that happens when you get resurrected, right? Because I have a really cool one.
Yeah, sure. I haven't made a rolling table for that yet because it oddly hasn't come up.
I was
Except for
just
once.
basing it off of kind of how the ritual works. So as the diamond starts like crumbling away, it's just kind of embedding all in her skin. So anytime like you shift around her, or the light changes. She's just like
Bella.
it's the skin of a killer Bella. Also, she lives in like creepy Gothland. But anyway, I just thought it was cool.
Yeah,
Because
and
like all
it
my
really-
shit has all been star based.
It really coalesces around the scar in the midsection. And
That's cool.
there's a brief moment as the diamond fades away and the candlelight flickers out for a very long moment and then slowly rises back up in orange. And the figure of the young Christina lying within the crypt just like takes a deep breath and coughs, and as she coughs, you swear you see like some spiders crawl out.
Nice.
Why do you every fucking day?
And she sits up. As she does,
Also
Ivan
canon.
has this look of shock and disbelief and almost like reaches out but stops himself. I'm going to have Ivan make a quick charisma saving throw.
Nice. Keep his shit together.
the teenage form of Ivan crumbles and falls backwards against the wall, and you see just like this very strange-looking, like a full-sized ventriloquist dummy almost, wearing the same outfit and same like hairstyle. And you all hear a familiar kind of clicking of steel on stone. And in the distance from where you entered the crypt, you see the spider pram coming down the stairs as it stops. And exiting it, dressed in a shabby suit, is the older version of Ivan, who steps forward and looks at all of you. Make an insight check.
Okay. I would also like to check and see if he's wearing any familiar-looking rings.
What did you say?
Insight.
7 on insight.
Okay.
17.
Perception
Should I-
check as well.
Okay.
19.
11.
26.
Roll above a 10 once.
You see his walking is like labored. He's got a cane in one hand that he's using to kind of stabilize himself.
Well,
And what did you roll for perception?
perception was 26.
26. In the other hand, you see he's got a pretty hefty, like leather satchel that he's carrying. As he steps forward, and he stops just shy of the candlelight and tosses the satchel forward. And as he does, Pippin looks down, like very tired and confused, and like feeling the palpable emotions of this moment. Notices his pack.
Yay! Pippin stuff!
Pippin's stuff is
Got
also
everything you want.
here.
And mixed in with some of it is also some of Wellington's stuff.
Oh, nice.
And he takes that and like picks it up, and Ivan stands there unmoving as he walks over. And Pippin hands his things back to Wellington and puts his on. And Ivan takes one step forward into the light as this little girl, who, by the way, after being
She has a
resurrected,
-4 everything.
yeah, she has -4 everything, 4 levels of exhaustion. She basically like passes out in her space, but is still breathing. You all see, as Ivan steps into the light of the candles, streams of tears on either side of his eyes. As he looks at all of you and speaks with a voice that you haven't heard Ivan use before.
A man voice.
The doors to my domain are open. You're free to leave, take anyone you'd like, and take Christina with you.
I'm
Take
gonna
her.
pick her up.
Alma begins to lift her up.
No games, no ploys. This place is my domain, yes, but it is my prison. Even if I were to leave, the mists would bring me back here. They wouldn't allow me to have something that brings me such joy. She needs to go, for her own safety.
And at this point, you can see like the mist kind of pours down behind him, down, staying low to the ground, and fills into the space. Not filling it, but just kind of like lying along the ground.
I've brought the boarders in. It's just a short walk from here. I just wanted to see her one last time.
I'm gonna give him a chocolate.
He awkwardly takes it, just holds it in his hand, doesn't like open it and eat it or
Just
anything.
something nice.
And what do you guys do?
Did you
Is-
pick her up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there anyone
I'm not
still
very
locked
strong,
up
but
somewhere?
she's like 6, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
true. It's a small time.
There are the people of the towns there. They may or may not leave. I'll leave the borders open. Please, quickly.
Does it seem like there's anything that a person could do to gain redemption out of their prison?
Make an insight check. Or an arcana check, actually.
I'm gonna think.
Could have been a really cool time, but it's a 9.
Rhymes though.
You're not sure. Cholula, as
She
you...
did a song.
How do you thank him?
Well, I gave
What
him
does Cholula say?
candy, and I don't know. On her face, she's just very kind of confused and surprised, and understands that this is probably
Beyond
something
us.
that will pass
Mm-hmm.
if we don't move quickly. So she just says, "Thank you," and then I'm gonna turn and we need to get everyone out of here.
You're doing the right thing. We'll make sure she's safe and happy.
We'll make sure she knows, too.
I'm gonna walk up to him and put my hand on his shoulder.
I'm under no illusion that the things I've done are monstrous. But even in spite of that, you've given me a gift. It's the least I could do. Go, please.
And when I walk away, like a mist form of Silas is still holding his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
You all exit the crypts
Yeah, fucking.
with Cherry, Pippin, Wellington, and me, Mama, in tow. And Katya. I almost forgot Katya.
Don't forget Katya.
And the dead guy who's in your bag of holding.
There's a dead
Can I
guy.
make
unconscious
carry
child.
her?
Alma, I think, is carrying
Oh, okay.
Christina.
Yeah. But Hank can carry both of us. It's fine. I'm fucking wrecked after that.
Does anybody know how to do the thing where it makes your voice real loud? So you can, tell everybody to get the hell out. Hell's
I
out.
figured we could go to the border and put up some kind of a signal. It might draw some kind of curiosity at least. I can pop the mist to the best of my ability.
Bad things happening.
Maybe a signal they've never seen before.
Stepping out of the crypts and back into the cemetery, you see that the mist has flowed in to this space and is actually everyone who's proficient in Arcana can make one more Arcana check.
Let me check.
Silas,
No. Charisma and Arcana are
what
just
the fuck, man?
magically out of bounds.
Why'd you infect my rolls, though? Like, what the fuck?
You've never blamed the whole side of the table for your rolls before.
I haven't rolled over 10 in weeks.
8?
8.
We might have to get hammered in the new studio space or something to give it some magic.
Well, that's up to the 3 of us. Y'all over there being pregnant and shit.
I'm a seahorse.
Wait, what am I doing?
I'm a
Okay.
seahorse.
What did you guys get total?
8.
8 and
I got 15.
15.
Oh, that's not bad.
Howie,
I'm
you're
proficient.
not sure. Based on everything that you've heard, the domain's borders can be closed and opened by what seemingly based on what Ivan has said is whoever is imprisoned there. They can kind of control when people come and go. You're not sure if that means that the borders can be shifted and moved. You don't know if this is Ivan's doing or if this is the mists encroaching upon him. But as you guys move forward, even in this space where you can see bits of the manor house and bits of the courtyard out front, pieces of the stone seem to be cracking and lifting. There's this strange reversed gravitational feel to these stones that are rising up and slowly crumbling and becoming finer and finer until the sand that they're turning into is becoming wisps of mist. It's almost like this place is eating itself.
Oh. So are we seeing this from the inside or the outside?
You are still in it.
And it feels like
Okay.
it's going in too, getting
It definitely
smaller.
feels that way.
Yeah, okay.
Ivan's estate I don't know if you guys still have that map that I sent up, is pretty near to the edge of the domain. So if it is closing, this would be one of the first places that it would pass to if it were kind of shrinking.
So does that mean that like the town is now outside of it?
The town is more towards the central location.
Shit.
But you guys are trying to get to the edge, which appears to be coming to you.
Okay.
Oh, so maybe the mist is leaving this place.
Should we,
Taking his estate, he's going to be trapped in a smaller space.
Oh, I forgot to roll. Sorry, hang on, real quick, just to see what Katya looks like. She gets to re-roll her saving throw against the evil eye after a long rest.
What is the evil
Oh,
eye?
please.
From the Fomorian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Bonk. I'll remove the curse.
You just removed the curse. Okay,
Yeah, my bad. I forgot.
no worries.
I
Easy
forgot I
enough.
promised to do that.
Yeah, we
It's a
had-
new day.
We had 2 bonks, and we used our 2 bonks.
For sure. Yeah,
now
we'll
I
say-
have two.
You like, didn't make a
one more
big deal
bonk.
about
Oh, we
Pippin
should
not
bonk
being a
another
lycanthrope anymore.
lycanthrope.
Yeah, right?
He just kind of got bonked.
He's
Are there
tired.
any other lycanthropes with us right now, or did they all?
There's a
hang
dead one
out?
in a bag.
We'll bonk him.
I'll have
when
to
he's back
bonk him
life.
later.
Silas,
Stick the stick down it part.
Katya grabs yours and me
Can
Mama's
you make a thing
hands.
not cursed while it's dead?
Me Mama grabs your hand, Alma. In the one that's not holding hands with Katya. And
I'll grab Alma's hand and then Cherry.
yeah, and Pippin places a hand on Wellington's shoulder and a hand on your shoulder, kind of like connecting this chain, I should say.
Get in here, Howie.
Yeah.
Hey, Hank.
We're all touching.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was
It's
like
time to
looking at the
touch.
map. Oh, sorry.
yeah. Wellington, who's got a hand on his shoulder, reaches out, and if Howie is willing, he'll grasp
Yeah.
your hand.
Scraps.
And
And
as
you, tired old werewolf.
and as the mists enshroud you, I need 2 rolls. Who wants to roll the first d6?
I'm not rolling.
I'll do it.
That's a good.
Do I get a feeling that we're coming
This
on a
table
crossroads
shouldn't
again?
roll.
Yeah.
Silas, you do, but it feels different. It feels less like you are being pulled toward another space,
More like pushed away.
being pushed out. Yeah.
You want
That's
to do
a
it
good
first?
one for this.
I'll do one.
Mhm.
Okay. 5.
Oh yeah, I guess I could do my Misty one.
Is that how many people make it through?
And who wants to roll the second d6?
I know we said we'd take care of her, but we left her in the mist.
6.
6.
I don't
That
know
might
if
be
that's
bad.
good.
Yeah.
I just like when you roll high numbers.
I know.
It's fun.
I always love when bad is a high number.
Sorry,
Like,
give me just a
20's the
second.
worst thing you can
My
Golf rules.
page is frozen,
Uh
and I can't scroll.
Uh-oh.
Which page?
My Google Doc.
Oh.
Oh, and then it threw me back 6 episodes. That's weird. Okay,
Cool.
hang on,
You
getting
might
back
need
into it.
to get like word.
I have 6.
Word.
Okay, 6.
Yes.
Okay.
So that would be 11 people that could get out.
I don't think we have that many.
Oh, good.
Well,
If we ran past this pile of lycanthropes that we left on the ground.
Hey, you 4. Arbitrarily.
I don't know. You look
You were
main
being,
character-y.
you were being the longest to stay.
Yeah, you were mean.
As the mists once again swirl around you and fill your lungs, and you feel like the space around you almost
Whose babe is this?
evaporates. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back in another 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So fast.
So fast.
We'll be back in 10 minutes to find out what happens
hap-
next.
What happened?
Happened.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, I don't know. What happened?
Okay, bye.
Hey, maybe the reason that your pee is so uncomfortable is because you avoid drinking as much as
right.
possible. Wow.
You're dehydrated.
Welcome back, everyone.
There's always these little rocks.
Time
you
to
know,
hop
it
back
sucks.
in and find out what's happening.
Right.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
I have 3 beverages.
There's probably going to be in the chat just a bunch of those stay hydrated Twitch things that they have.
We resume as the mists have swirled around you, and they begin to rise and pull back, almost as if just being burned off by early morning sun. And you find yourself standing in an odd grove. The area, like the soil beneath you, is very soft. The ground feels different from where you were standing prior. And as the mist continues to pull back, you see these tall, twisting trees that have these sort of spiral-like vines dangling down from them. And nearby, there's a low, like shallow pool of water as the mist continues to burn off. And for the first time in what feels like a long time, you find yourselves standing in the sunlight, dappled though it is through the leaves of trees. Howie, you breathe probably the biggest sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Alma, you still have the unconscious Christina in your arms.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is present with you and confused.
Do I recognize this place?
Make a history check with advantage.
Okay, so just
I never thought I'd miss the sun. Like, it's kind of bright, you know? I never really liked it that much, but whew, this feels nice.
It's good for you.
With
Like in
advantage.
general.
but I have disadvantage because I have a
Yeah.
level of exhaustion.
But
what am
wolves
I
normally
doing?
live
History?
underground.
History.
It's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, but
10?
like, it's good for your brain.
10.
Yeah.
It feels familiar, but alien at the same time. You don't recognize any landmarks currently.
I'm just going to reach out and just like grab a tree, just to like ground myself. Just
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, you do so. And Silas, you feel this strange, like you were expecting there to be this remaining pressure, but it's not there.
Can I like see if I can create like a latency if I still have mist?
You do so. It's there. It's a little faint, but it's there.
Everyone all right?
We can mark on the ground where we came out. Like,
Yeah. I'm gonna get my bearings. You guys find a bit of a camp or
Can
something.
you like run up a tree or something? And
I'm
see?
still quite tired, but I think we made it.
Yeah, just a sec, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna run up a tree.
Yeah, no roll required as a 16th level monk barbarian.
Grandmama follows.
Yeah, me mama.
Come on, me mama.
I'm coming.
I'll just like grab the top, like Mario Odyssey style.
Absolutely.
Mario Odyssey style.
Oh, I see.
He did that in Super Mario World too.
There we
Sorry,
go.
I found out why my document freaked out. I was trying to move something, and it was like, you want this to be a footer on all 639 pages of this document.
Yeah.
That's a
I
lot
found,
of
like-
document.
It is.
Yeah, I like to keep like another tab or a little, just a screenshot of like shortcuts for Word via Google or not, and eventually you memorize them.
You guys
They're
rolled
very helpful.
a 6 on your second.
Yeah.
5 and 6. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm gonna do the Mario 64 thing at the top of the tree where he just does like a handstand and his legs are over his head.
Yeah, and you try to get the owl to fly out so you can grab on its legs and fly in the air. You know, regular stuff.
I'm just doing like a pirate lean on the top.
Make a perception check.
Hark.
As you see just a low-lying mist in the area, still kind of like rising up off, and, well, yeah.
22.
22. You see where the sun is based off of mostly just a gut feeling at first. You assume that it's early morning, so the sun is in the east. You look off in an easterly direction, and you see just waves of trees, a couple of groves here and there. Let me actually check something real quick to make sure I can see what you would see.
See what I see.
I think I've deduced it, but I'm wondering if Silas would have put it together.
Yeah.
I've deduced nothing.
So if I look northeast, would I see a mountain range?
Northeast? No. To the northwest. Yes, you see just faintly in the distance on a 22 a large outcropping of obsidian mountains. But what really catches your attention is directly south of you is a massive but shriveled husk of what was once a great tree that now stands more of as a stump. You know when like a large tree dies in the forest and it kind of like hollows out on the interior and then things kind of grow up around it? Imagine that, but on an impossibly large scale. And surrounding it on its small island that you can see from up here on this perch, you see what you know to be Lake Mendeleth. Just calm, landlocked sea of Mistinor.
And they'll like, for flavor, like walk back down, just like pushing past the branches, like just down the tree.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought for a second we were in the spiral wood.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
It's Mistinor.
Oh.
Lake Mendeleth is right that way.
Wellington, kind of like unthinking, is kind of like pulling a large leaf from the tree, and he's like, "Yes, we've got the spirally vines, but the spiral woods is more of a coniferous wood. This is a bit more of a deciduous situation."
Right. So, okay, so the tree is south? That way.
Yes.
So then the school would be nearby, right? Are we close to the school?
Wiltbloom.
We're on,
Wiltbloom is
on the southern
west.
side of the island.
Yes,
right?
it's western side, western coast.
But we went from the school to the coast to get to the island with the tree on it.
Right. I think I've got a map in here somewhere.
I
Wellington
used to.
digs through and pulls up his map of Mistinor.
I was just wondering where this. We got a piece of a mirror, right?
I'm going to post
We
this in
sent
our
it with the heralds.
private Discord,
So,
just for you guys.
does anybody have any way of knowing when we are?
I'm going to say morning, knowing that's not the answer to your question.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
it
I
is
think
morning.
if we're not too far, if we make our way to the school, Baldwin, even if it's been 100 years, would still be alive. We could find out how long since the last time he's seen us.
That's true.
I've sent you guys a map of Mistinor.
Even though I'm sure he's very
You know that
busy.
you are north of Lake Mendeleth. Wiltbloom is in Kalima, which is directly due west of Lake Mendeleth, which is that unlabeled body of water in the southern quadrant of the continent. You are somewhere north of there. I'd say looking at a map, you can kind of place yourselves between Mendeleth and Mossendel because you're not surrounded by the lavender fields that would be north of Mossendel towards Galadorn.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Mossendel was
Howie,
cool.
you've probably never been here before.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
This is by no means a representation of all of the lands that we know, and Cherry, you're going to love it.
Where do y'all stay normally? Where are you from?
We're from Windfell.
I'm
Sort of.
actually from Mistinor,
Yeah,
but
technically.
Yeah.
whenever my whole family got separated and whatnot when I was a kid, Wellington took me to Waterdeep, and I lived most of my life there until I got sent to Borka, and then
We were-
escaped from there and ended up back in
We're
Waterdeep.
back in Waterdeep, and now we're not allowed back in Waterdeep.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
mostly
Because of the murder.
the Duvet family.
Because of the
Most of us were
impersonation.
raised in a small village called Corcathnith. It's just northwest of Kalima.
So we kind of know the drill. It sucks to travel through these parts, and watches are a bit odd.
There was a lot of wild magic kind of shit going on last time we were here, but then there's a giant tree that used to light up and everything, and then this cult killed it. And
It's kind of a
been-
hollow husk now.
It's been less wild since that happened, but we also left pretty quickly afterwards, so.
Folks,
Yes?
Pippin calls out. This seems new. Kind of like calls you over. He's like pushed through some brush a little bit, not straying too far.
is
Scooby Doo over the shoulder, just
Yeah.
kind of like peering
Approach,
out.
looking out. You see,
Scooby-Doo between the legs.
Yeah.
you see a,
Silas, I don't know if we know each other like that, really.
you see an obsidian paved road.
Oh,
That's weird, right? They didn't have those before.
they didn't have those.
How long ago, in our time, the timeline that we're familiar with, as we left it,
Uh-huh.
how long had it been since these guys left Mistinor and came back to Windfell?
It's been over a year. Because we did that like
Time jump.
6-month time
Okay,
jump. It's been
that's-
about at a year, I would say.
That's something that could happen in a year.
It could be
So
good.
that
It
giant
could
tree
mean
is
that
completely gone now, or what's the deal with that?
No, the giant tree is now basically like a big husk of a tree. There are things growing on it, but it itself is dead.
You know, like
Maybe with
how a tree
Galador and-
hollows out when it dies. I
Can
think.
you go get a branch from that, maybe?
You want me to go?
It's quite far away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of deceptive as it is very large. It looks close. It is like,
It's like wild magic tree. You could probably do something cool with that.
Oh,
blocks.
trust me, we'll find you a lot of
You lost
wild
your path.
magic things here. My path!
maybe the whole alliance and everything that happened with Galadorn and everything to rid Altanin of the Silver Stake, maybe that kind of united Mistinor and they started putting in roads. And maybe not that the Silver Stake took over and they put in roads. I don't know.
I hadn't considered that.
But we should be close to Mossendale, and that was real cool last time we were here. Should we go?
Like,
Yeah.
roads always lead somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Not here. Well, last time we were here.
I don't know. I don't know how long it's been.
Let's do the regular. Travel the roads, step off for a watch.
All right.
And we need to
So,
We
are
need
you
to find-
following the road north or south?
Mossendale,
North.
which is north.
North. Okay.
And that's on the way to, if we continued north, that would be to the Elf King.
Galadorn, correct.
Did you start your timer?
Nope.
It'd be nice if we could get her to someplace to rest.
Oh,
Maybe
for sure.
Get,
Let's-
get like an actual meal. that
Yeah,
they
once
eat
we
when
see
they go,
smoke,
like,
we
wake up.
can sit and have a thing.
Mossendale is nice.
Well,
So, traveling north along this strange, and it's strange. It's not like asphalt, like paved. It's like chunks of obsidian that have been carved into stone were laid here to make this road, giving it this strange kind of sleek gloss as you walk along it. It's a little hot,
Yeah.
It would be.
but not too bad as you continue forward. And yeah, there are areas where like the ground you can see has been leveled more for the ease of the road. You cross over a number of bridges with beautiful views as you travel of these lovely like cypress trees that have their kind of cone-like roots protruding out from areas of swamp. You get a couple of views of various types of wildlife, these like alligators passing through underneath one of the bridges as you go. Nothing dire, just regular sized guys chilling. And a number of like turtles of different varieties. You actually come across one turtle that's like slowly walking across the road as you're going.
if this is a montage, Silas is over, like, Just a turtle. And then just like alligator.
Whoa.
Just an alligator. Just, like, into every
There's like a
misdemeanor
bird.
thing.
Yeah, Katya
there's that
is
one
like
guy who's
fully.
naked.
Katya is like glowing fists, fully like backing you up in all of these.
Me Mama's just like grabbing things out of nature and just like, oh, hello.
Putting a flower in her hair.
You can make tea with this.
This is nice.
So,
Put that down.
I do have, if I could like initiate one conversation as we're traveling.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything that you guys want to chat about or do in this brief travel period, feel free.
So, Howie, now that things have hopefully settled,
Yeah.
You're not from Borka.
No.
How-
From Vasker, Gold Run.
I don't.
We haven't been there yet.
I've heard tell of it.
I've traveled around a little bit.
That dragon.
Mostly just went from town to town for picking up.
Parallax.
Arnax was going to
Work for hire.
Brendal, wasn't he?
He had mentioned Vasica.
Do you know a
things
gold
like that.
dragon? Okay, just checking in. He's also from Vasica, I think.
Do I know anything of the Gold Dragon?
I feel like I
not
remember
Vasica,
him
no.
mentioning Vasica for some reason. Okay, and then you just ended up in Borka?
I was taken against my will to Borka.
By who?
I was trying to rob a place, but
Standard fare.
You mentioned a book.
yeah, just trying to get a book from like a fortress
Top
with some
seller.
people. Tried to run away at the end. Everyone else made out with me.
I'm guessing this book was of this book was of importance.
Those people
This
are
was not a
terrible.
one-shot.
How rude! They just left you there.
Yep,
Ooh,
They
totally.
must not have been thinking.
those aren't good friends.
Listen, sometimes stuff happens and you just gotta go when you gotta go. Sometimes people aren't fast enough. No offense.
I was running very
That's
fast.
Cherry, not Pippin. I should specify. I'll try and do Cherry a little bit more up here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was very
We'll just get you some red
expediently
lipstick,
running.
you'll wipe it off.
I'm Cherry when I do this face.
Ooh.
Ooh, the face women make.
Oh, this one's got sass.
So,
So the
But
thing where you
it's-
like send people real far, you can't do that to yourself.
Hmm.
Can you
I
do
did
it to
others.
Hank
Yeah.
while you're riding Hank?
He would go, I wouldn't.
oh,
Well, that doesn't seem fair. What if you tied yourself to him?
You want to try?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got time. And that's just a turtle.
I mean,
I don't know if I said that
we'll
earlier.
catch up to
tie the turtle to Hank. Don't do that.
Don't
That's
tie the
animal
turtle to
I'm gonna
Hank.
try-
It is a
Yeah.
snapping turtle. Be careful. Don't get your hands near its
I'm gonna
face.
tie Howie to Hank.
Just like tossing berries and rations at it.
I'm gonna try to tie Howie to Hank.
Okay. Make a dexterity or sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Are you allowing this to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has to be able to see where it's going. Don't put him back to back.
Can you
him in
read
like
the
a
wording of
baby
this
sleight
spell
of
again, too?
hand. 25.
25. You are firmly secured.
Hell yeah. Let me actually read the
So
wording.
anytime you want to do this, you'll just have to have Cholula tie you. to Hank.
You can
always
learn
be
taps.
tied.
I can teach you these knots and you can tie yourself.
Maybe you could create a belt of some sort that might be,
Oh,
of,
that would be
of easier use.
All right. You magically twist the space around another creature you see within range. The target must see blah blah blah, or the target is teleported to an unoccupied space. The chosen space on the surface of the... Yeah, and around another creature is what it says. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna
It doesn't say
get my
that you
little
can't
egg
be
beater
tied
thing
to
out
them.
with the weird batteries and all the stuff hit to it, and kind of purple
Yeah.
warp starts to form around the bottom. That goes over to Hank.
And then you fall to the ground. The rope falls lax around you as Hank appears 90 feet away.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Damn.
No,
Well-
it's a good experiment. Still really weird you use a whisk for it.
It's like the three, when you have a bunch.
I get it.
If anyone's ever tied up,
Well, I was just thinking,
You can
like,
just
what's
move
a
them out of
way
their
that you
binds.
can, like, kind of move air and energy around really quick. I found it in the caves. I don't know.
Yeah.
continuing on your way. After about a 2-hour walk,
We probably kind of explained to the new people and also Alma, since she died, kind of what went down, what's going on with like our previous party member and all of that.
for
Yes,
sure.
if you see a wiry, angry, short-haired, kind of a twerp, that's Rabbit.
I thought you were going to say kind of a twink, and I was like, I mean,
Not
Kind of
incorrect.
a twink and a twerp.
Who's Rabbit?
twinky twerp.
Rabbit. How best to explain?
She's a bit of a firecracker.
Yeah, a bit of a...
There.
Flying out of the trees, being the shit.
I knew it! A bit of a barf's fire, I think. And it was like acid or something. It threw up a lot.
Ah.
Talks
Not-
about dragons all the time.
Yeah, a sister to... a dragon.
Daughter of a dragon.
Daughter... They were related to a dragon, but they were not born of an egg. They were very clear on that.
Okay.
And then
This is the best way to explain it.
Aurora's family was involved with the cult, the Silver Stake, in Altanan, and when we were trying to help get all of the people that lived in the waters out of there,
Which we did.
Aurora was tricked by her mother in disguise, and she was taken from us. And we haven't been able to. Well, we
Last we
contacted her.
contacted her, she made it to the Feywild.
Right.
How does Cherry
and
look
seems safe.
during all of these tales?
Cherry? She listens with intrigue and interest.
So as far as we know, just to summarize, the last time we were here, the Silver Stake had a stronghold in Altanan. And an alliance was formed here to try and stop them, but we don't know.
Or we were told it was agreed upon that an alliance would be formed with conditions.
Right.
To
We
try
had to find a mirror and send it back, and we did.
Have we explained what the Silver Stake is?
Taking notes.
Okay, great. So they were a cult, maybe still are, we're not sure. Also, there's shards. Have we gone through that?
We'll get
I
there.
know,
We'll get
'cause
there.
it's
We
related.
gotta be in order.
Right. Okay. So they're called. They seem to be everywhere, but here they were a little different. They were a little more like religious zealot than.
Yeah. They were going to try to
Right.
raise an army of evil, and they were going to be
Right.
the ones to vanquish it.
Right.
And they
being
were
the
being led by a
saviors.
hag.
They were preaching everything, scientific and anti-magic, but they were using methods,
What's the difference? Come on.
right, to create
Yeah,
these sort of abominations of creatures combined with other creatures, and these were going to be, monsters that they would, and the stake would save, the villages from or whatever, so that they could rise to power.
They were all just a ploy from a hag who was trying to gain power over probably most of Kavora, who had this idea that she would summon an army of darkness and then have the solution to said army's arrival and be praised as a hero and, placed in charge of things. But she was rushed and things didn't go the way she expected.
She was torn apart by the very creation she brought about.
Yes.
So
And then we fought together to take it down.
I punched it through the back of the head.
He punched it through the back of the head.
I should have taken one of its horns.
I was
that
dead
would've been so
during that,
cool.
but
That'd
if
been
your
fucking
rabbit
The coolest.
Me mom was like, that would have been fucking rad.
That would have been.
was- Damn me, Mama.
Could have made a nice tea with it.
So basically, a very, 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 very long time ago, there were primordial gods that got shattered apart into a bunch of shards. One of those shards was in the tree of Chandragora,
Sandra, sure.
and
That's-
Okay, now
that's
I
the
see
tree
why it
that
was.
got
Yeah.
destroyed.
Okay.
And because that tree got destroyed, everything is now out of balance, and there could be a god war, but we're not entirely sure if the god that asked us to make that stop is like doing the right thing, or if they're not. And it could be really bad, but it could also be the right thing to do, but we don't know that yet. So I think that's a good catch up to where we are right now.
Yeah.
It's maybe
but we
god
also
war.
found
So-
a shard. We used the staff to disentangle and then fought the thing, and then
Right.
kind of got the feeling that
We're
balance
slightly
was-
more balanced now than
And
we
as,
were.
So-
as it is here, we attempted to unify Mr. Nor against the Silver Stake, and that was the last we had left it. We haven't had any correspondence
Fingers crossed it worked.
with Rabbit, who was kind of the herald of sorts for that.
So what's the plan then?
I'm going to be looking for smoke on the horizon if I can see through the trees or around the trees.
At this point in
For
the walk,
civilization.
Yeah, at this point in the walk, no roll required. You do see a bit of smoke rising. However, before you notice the smoke rising, you see that certain areas of this swamp have been cultivated and rearranged into these large, like low-lying, standing water fields of that you can see crops have been planted in. These various like rice plants and paddies kind of filter this area. As the road begins to slope more downward and you enter this sort of valley, it is just lined with tons of these rice paddies that kind of speckle the landscape. And looking downward, you see not Mossendale, but what appears to be a village.
Are there any flags or banners?
Make a perception check.
What the?
I know.
20 and a 3.
23.
I can't wait for you guys to take another nap.
I know.
You
23,
think
you
that's gonna
said?
save us
Yeah.
at this point?
I mean, it would have been a crit just now.
Yeah.
23. You do. You see rising from one of the larger buildings in the central portion of this village ahead is a rather large flag that's carries and picks up in the wind as it blows. It's a green flag that depicts a circular dragon, wings extended, and like you can see like the tail and the head, but it is split down the middle. It's red on one side and black on the other.
Okay. The flag seems like good fortune, possibly. That seems like a united Mistinor, doesn't it?
Should we rest up before we head down?
I
Into
mean,
town?
they might have beds.
Yeah.
There's probably food and beds there, and we don't know
Well, I'd
what's
like
out here.
for the body in the bag to be alive.
Right, but can it be alive in the morning?
I mean, sure,
Oh, are you concerned they're gonna do bag checks?
it would be different to discover such a thing.
I mean, come on, Silas. What, we've got another year before it's even a problem for Alma?
I'm saying other people don't take too kindly to, oh no, I just killed that the other day. We're planning on bringing it back to life.
I
You
mean,
think
they
they're going to
can't
make you
really
turn out your bag of holding?
They can't search my bag of holding
Is
unless
that standard
they kill
procedure
me.
in these towns? Making you turn out all your livelihoods just to answer?
It
Didn't
has
used
been
to be.
before.
I see.
Well, we can find out, I guess, at the
But,
gate.
I
And
mean,
if they want us to
hopefully-
turn out our bags, we can say never mind.
That's
If
fine.
you guys were part of uniting Mr. in the first place, then hopefully somebody of record would recognize you two, right?
Yeah, but then I want
If
to
there's
talk.
like a statue.
I'm not sure how far in the future we've
Oh,
arrived.
that would be. I really.
I
hope-
can't tell if the tree
I'm
has
afraid.
rotted or if that's just kind of what happens to a magical tree. It dies from the
I mean,
inside.
it really doesn't take that long for a dead tree to have things.
It was the size of a
eat-
city, though. And
Right.
I could see it from here that it had been grown over.
Right, but when a tree dies, fungus and things immediately start to
About this big,
feed off.
right?
That's true. That's why you only find like.
A deer falls and fungus and things and maggots reach about this much square footage
Right.
over the course of a
Well,
couple months.
Obviously,
right?
they're magical fungus.
Okay, yes.
What Year.
That's said with like a lot of.
do y'all
please.
think it is? What year did y'all come in?
I couldn't tell
I'm
you.
gonna ask you some DM questions.
820.
Oh, we.
I
did
was in
get
there
it
for a while.
Let me just Command F in this 639-page document, and I will get back to you.
Okay, but long story short, what I'm trying to figure out is how much time did I lose before?
Oh, do
Yeah.
you have a date?
No.
Oh.
I have memory issues. I have corrected some of the things that I remember, but I don't have dates. You know
I
what
was
mean?
dead for a while and I never got the date when I came back. So.
I've been
But
here
if
the
I was
whole
in there
time.
for, a couple of years
You've
or
been doing
whatever
great.
before, how long was I in there? I forget.
I thought it was a couple of weeks. By a couple I mean a lot.
I know I
I've
told you
been-
guys the year at one point. If
I remember,
any of
like-
you
It's like 8.
wrote
I
it
feel
down.
like
I
they
was
would've-
out.
It's definitely in the
I was-
800s.
Because you're
They
talking
would
about.
have mentioned the year when we went to court, and I feel like it would have been like 826 or 7.
And I remember something about. I was looking at a building that was ancient, and you had described it as like in the 600s.
It is 892 post severance, as far as you are all
That's right.
concerned.
The severance was like
892.
600 or some shit, or 400. Or 0 would be the severance.
The severance.
I have that in notes. I don't
Yeah.
actually know where that book is.
We've done so many.
Well, so there's the Age of
episodes.
Absence. That was what was so crazy about the wall that you were looking at on Rovengul, the island that Lake Mendeleth surrounds, is that it was from before the Severance.
Okay.
Post severance, 892.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are
and
currently
that's-
in the Cognizant era.
P.S.
So 892.
So maybe.
So I guess we would tell Howie.
yeah.
As far as we know, it is 892.
And let's find out the best way to figure out that.
Would
the
I know
present
what
information.
year was thinking it was?
Roll a d6.
We'd probably just call it 92, right? Or
Right.
if it's in threes, do you still use all three?
5.
5. Howie, as far as you know, it should be 887.
Okay.
And we think it's 892, but we're. Okay. So the best thing we
You're
could do
potentially
is
somewhere else. Potentially not.
we should find the best way to ascertain what year it is when we get to the village without
Without seeming crazy.
raising any alarm. It is Mistador, so I imagine things like this
Well,
happen.
that's true. We could just be like,
regularly.
hey, we walked through a clearing a minute ago. Things seem different a little bit.
But it could be 1100 and they don't even know the reference of when the tree fell.
Do you have to
Just throwing it
see
out there.
someone to
Wellington
send them a
like
brain
stops in his
message?
tracks as
I
you're
don't
walking.
think I can do anything.
Like
right
today,
now.
but like
Um,
so like we could maybe hit up Nori or Valdwin and be like, hey, so
did Alma meet Valdwin? Did Alma meet Valdwin?
Alma did not meet Veldwin.
Alma did not meet Valdwin.
you,
And I
did
definitely
you see
didn't meet
fake
Norman.
Valdwin? Whenever we were fighting the constructs, and I thought that the spider mom was
Alma
No,
didn't
I was
see
already
that.
alive.
That was an
Oh, okay.
illusion in your construct brain.
okay.
Cholula didn't see that either, technically.
Wellington, you're okay there?
At your mention of that, he's like looking down and kind of like talking to himself. He's like, it could be, yes. Sorry,
What year do you think it is?
I don't know, but what Silas was saying just gave me pause for a moment. We could have traveled through so much time that perhaps society has risen and fallen, and we're in a new era. They might not even be using the same
Hey.
numerical system.
Hey, we have to stay in the present. If there's anything I've learned from not having a past, we have to stay here.
Also,
And then I'm going to
people
turn and
hate-
walk away, but like a missed version of Silas stays staring at him.
Right.
Oh,
People, don't be creepy, Sal.
He steps forward and like dusts it away.
People hate learning new things, so I doubt the numerical system has changed.
Unless, everything was destroyed and then they had to rebuild and start over.
But what I know
Possibly.
of the lore of this place,
Everything's
right, is 2 dragons fought and created the coasts.
right.
Is this not represented in the flag?
Right, the Great Worms.
The Obsidian Coast and the Red Coast.
They've still got
Yes.
that knowledge at least. That's good.
So it can't be too far off.
That was from the Grimdalian invasion about 67 years ago, if time is as it
The
was.
tree is wilted.
Which isn't great for us, but that could maybe be 5 years. That's not.
Can I judge like how long it would take a tree of that size to deteriorate to the point that it's at now?
Make a nature check at disadvantage, because it was a very magical tree and there's no telling.
So much. Oh, that's not one, so it doesn't
Roll it
matter.
again. Let's roll another one. I was gonna say she has magical rolls. Like 2 ones would have been the result of that.
Yeah, there's literally no way to tell because you don't know how, like, a decayed shard, maybe it would be faster, maybe it would be slower.
Yeah. And you think it's 887?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been keeping track of the days.
Did you have anyone before you went into the mist?
What? Anyone?
Family members,
No.
loved ones?
No.
But he's got us now, dear.
Yeah, no, I was just more or less asking if people would miss 5 years of you, if you were important,
No,
say to rent or anything.
Hank and I just traveled around by ourselves and did contracts for money. So there were people that I was like doing jobs with regularly, but that's about it.
What about all of you? Silas, you've got a wife, correct?
She doesn't
knew
need
that-
me.
She knew that we were doing what we were doing,
Yeah.
and that it was.
Well, and unfortunately, if she was looking for us, she'd probably be starting in Grimdall or Windfell.
That's fine.
She's elvish, correct?
Yes.
Okay, right. So she's probably fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's hanging
Trust
out.
me, there's been times
She's gonna outlive both of us.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't look a day older.
No, yeah,
No.
I've had to remind her that I was her husband multiple times. It's kind of a thing.
Okay.
She is very busy. I mean, you saw she's very enterprising.
Are you
The
guys-
moment she got back.
You also are very busy.
Are you guys continuing to approach this
Yes.
village,
I
or are
think
you?
that's our
Yes.
best.
Is this in place of Mossendale, or is this a new village on the way to Mossendale?
Best guess, it seems to be a new place.
Okay,
Like
because I
there are
remember
no
there was like
familiar
a marsh
landmarks.
that we were in.
Yeah, and you've definitely been walking through marshland.
Yeah.
Like along a road through marshland. But yeah, seeing that like it has been shifted and like using that natural swampy terrain to create these rice paddies has, I mean, there's no telling how long it's taken, but you know that the Genasi in the area are well equipped to suit the environment to their needs.
Yeah.
Um,
So, what do y'all think? Do you want to sleep outside, or do you want to sleep inside?
Inside,
Let's
please.
sleep
I
inside.
think we try to find some place inside. We've got an entire human child, and even if we can't ask anybody what year it is, we might be able to get clues from. Do people dress in a familiar way?
Maybe they have a paper.
Are there calendars, papers, anything would
Maybe-
have the date written on it?
Maybe it'll be the New Year celebration when we walk in. We'll just get
Oh,
it
that'd
right.
Oh, that would be fun.
Ask,
Yeah, as long
ask a
as
little
that's-
kid or something. They think everything's
Yeah.
weird. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
what's
be
your
easy.
favorite color?
What
What
are we-
year is it?
How
You
are we
know?
going to explain your little friend?
This child that I have?
Yeah, with the wound.
No, that's gone. I'm gonna just like turn her around. Like, you know when you're holding a kid and you've got to move them and you have to do like a weird shimmy?
She's young
Yeah.
enough that she could be
Yeah, so,
your child to sleep
But
on
the-
your shoulder.
okay. But the wound is gone.
Oh, that's good.
The dress doesn't appear that way. Is there blood on the dress?
no.
Okay, it's just a
It's just ripped.
cut. Okay.
But if I hold her like this and I just kind of,
Fire and carry.
Then
no, I mean, you know,
it's a
So wait,
werewolf
how
in a bag.
did
There's a
you
child
say
with
she
a bag.
died again?
he didn't.
At this point, there are other travelers passing you by.
Oh.
All different types of people. You see a couple of Aarakocra that have their wings pulled in, choosing to walk on the ground at this time. A couple of them have these very like bird of paradise looks to them. Very dark feathers, but you can see the kind of like shimmering green and blue underneath the chin. Passing by, you also see a couple of humans.
We'll do the white people hiking thing.
Like turning their heads and like nod to you.
I'm trying to
send you on the way.
sidestep around one of the Aarakocra and it does like a full like dance to get around. Oh, excuse me.
They're not trying to fuck Silas.
Well, it's just become like appropriate in society with this many birds.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
And you find yourselves stepping into a small village.
Does clothing still look the same? Do people still look familiar to me?
Make an insight check.
Do I see like a inn type of place, tavern?
Perception check.
Are there elves mingling about? Like, I mean, like high elves from like the king's place?
Not high elves, no, but there are some elves.
Okay.
13?
23.
23. Silas, you can also make a perception check. 13. Styles look similar enough. They don't seem to have changed.
There's nothing like vastly different.
drastically. Yeah,
People
it's-
aren't like,
yeah, it's not
this
like-
is my vibe.
It's not suddenly the 80s. Like,
Vinyl!
right. Like, people are still wearing, like, leathers and,
Okay.
and furs and different types of attire. Mostly common clothing. Just like simple linens. There are a couple people that have their clothes dyed. Like you pass by one particular elf who's wearing like a, not bright, but like a subdued, full yellow suit, which most people couldn't pull off, but
That's
this elf
loud.
does.
Of course. Probably platinum blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The dirty 20
Sunglasses.
on perception.
Dirty 20 on perception. Silas, you see a different elf that gives off different vibes than most elves than you're used to. He's like probably drunk. As you see, he's like taking a sip from a flask. If an elf could have stubble, he would, but this particular branch of them can't, so he doesn't. He's got like the bags under the eyes. He actually got a scar over one eye that goes like from the top of the forehead down past the jawline, and just looks haggard for an elf. Not in the way that Callan did, where he was like
Sad.
having gas all the time.
Yeah, sad haggard.
Yeah. A little bit.
Haggard.
He's like a little bit of dirt on the cheeks. His hands are more calloused than an elf normally would be. Like he looks like he actually does physical labor. Cholula, you spot what looks to be a tavern with a sign outside that has an image of the stump matching that of Chandragora, and it is called the Wilted Willow.
Oh,
Okay.
it's good. It's a good tap.
Oh, I think I see a place to sleep.
I'm going to peel off of Grand Alma and walk over to the
Don't go
elf.
far, dear.
Just a second. Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
he's like 40 or 50 or something. Like, he's gonna be okay.
This place
Alma.
looks nice. We'll get you a tea.
What? You're fine.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice sometimes.
All right.
Do you want some tea, dear?
But yeah, of course I do.
I think I've got a couple.
How are you making tea right now?
Well, I figured we'd get some at the tavern. I think I've got a couple silver around here somewhere.
Oh, don't worry about it.
How are the Wilfords
Is
the
there
Jews of
candy?
this?
You're welcome.
This is so rad. I'm going to go over to this elf and kind of stoop down. Does he have like a drink with him?
Yeah, he was sipping
It's
from
on the ground.
sipping from a flask.
Just bring your own drinks into the bar.
You bring your own drinks.
He's not at the bar. He's
Be
he's like on the street. He's wearing these
okay,
like
got it.
big.
Yeah, I got
he's,
confused.
he's wearing like these almost ill-fitting boots that are crusted over with like long dried mud. Simple trousers and just like a brownish white tunic, I guess is the word. There's no like buttons, just like an overshirt.
Hello there.
Smoking a pipe. Hello.
You seem an interesting sort. I love an elf that values mortality. You know what year it is?
Of course I do. 902, post-severance.
It's good enough, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want a drink. I think we're stepping into this tavern.
Make a persuasion check. With disadvantage.
902? I thought you said 992, and I was like, oh, hey, that's fucking bad.
What do you expect from a little grandpa on a pram?
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Wow, that's a good roll. It's a 2 because I don't have any pluses to charisma.
He like
I fart. I don't know.
you make the offer and he like holds the pipe up to his mouth and just like
Okay.
piss off. Turns and stalks away through the street.
That was like the only
Silas
elf.
kills him.
That's the only elf I've ever liked in my entire life.
Aren't you married to an elf?
Yeah, it's different. What are you?
It's a different kind of
Welcome
relationship.
aboard, Josh.
It's different. You know what I mean? Like she was.
He has father-in-law trauma. Elf-in-law trauma.
It's hey, haha. You know what else is funny? It's been It's 9:02. Then I'm going to walk into the tavern.
That's not great.
Wellington's like, in the morning? Please tell me you mean in the morning.
Nope.
Do you think I asked
he
him for what
means
bed
in
it
the-
was? I'm going to go drink for a decade.
Well, it's been that.
Stepping inside,
It's been more of that for me.
Oh shit.
it's a lovely dark wood interior. You're not sure if the wood itself is naturally dark or if it's been stained in such a way, but it's nice, not low light, but not brightly lit. Yeah, just like a few torches. It's strange because it's been so long stepping into a place that isn't like magically lit. But just standard torches and candles along the walls. There's a couple of circular, not quite chandeliers, but just light fixtures on the ceiling. And yeah, a number of tables and chairs. It's pretty busy at the moment. A number of patrons are eating food and having reasonable drinks for this time of morning.
Okay.
So, I guess we can try to gather information the best we can, see if the college is still about in our own...
We have an
Ways.
unconscious person with us. We should get a room or something.
For sure, I'm just saying. It's not like they're going to be screaming anytime soon. No. I submit that they will not be screaming anytime soon. Do we have the doll still?
Yeah,
The doll that screams for danger?
I seem to just have like shit all in my
Yeah.
pockets that was
You just became like quick mom. You just have like a
Can I
backpack on.
Yeah.
This has happened to me before.
Oh,
I-
can I
I-
see that all?
The doll?
Gifted it to the child.
The owlbear doll or the one that cries when danger is near?
There's more than one doll?
Yeah, there was. Cholula gave her this one, and it cries when danger is.
Oh, we
close.
didn't
it's like
leave the
typical,
owlbear
like-
with Ivan. That's
Yeah.
Well,
like-
I assume all of her stuff was given to us.
For sure.
This one is like typical spooky, like clearly a haunted doll. Like the porcelain face is cracked and the eyes, like one of them is half closed.
And then
Can
this
I-
is a stuffed owlbear. It doesn't do anything to my knowledge.
Maybe we give her both. I don't know. Are y'all attached? How creepy? So it's real creepy?
Yeah.
Could, is there any chance that it, like, a kid would still like it? Or is it, like, so
Potentially.
creepy?
Christina gives off those kind of like I lived in the mist my whole life kind of vibes, and then died
Good
twice.
point.
That is one of the things
That's
that
right.
convinced her that she was going to come back.
Technically, Christina never lived in the mists because they
Right.
enshrouded the night she died.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. I will get drinks if you guys and rooms, keys.
Okay.
How many rooms do we want? Who's
It
separating?
depends on how big they are, but
Yeah, how many
we should
of us
try
are?
to.
Let's not make
save
this weird. Just
together.
grab a partner and I'll grab keys.
Great.
Or I'll do it.
Well, I'll come with you. We find out how many people can fit into.
I'm
the
not
room.
staying in a room with my mother.
Does Grandmama look like she's really good with children?
Yes.
Wait, I know that she is. I grab Grandmama.
There we go. Good pairing.
Help.
Would you like me to take the child? Okay, yes, I will. Oh, she's so tired.
And she's very floppy. Anyone else? Who's pairing up here? I need to know how many keys.
If they have enough room,
I can sleep with the kid and the grandmama and
Yeah, you
whatever.
can stay with
Okay.
us.
That's a room.
duvets.
I don't take that much room.
Duvets will take one. That's one.
Sure.
We don't have to
Phrase that
talk.
weird. I can sleep.
Pippin's like, we can talk. What's wrong with talking?
I don't know. Cherry's kind of weird.
Oh,
And
the eyes are.
the rest of the Wilfords will take that. That'll be 3 keys. I'll be back.
How many
Easy.
more are there?
It's just you.
Yep, I said the Wilfords.
Oh, I was gonna stay. That's fine. We can just share.
Not making it weird. We don't want to get back away.
Okay, so you guys have a room. You being me, mom. We'll share a room. The duvets.
4 rooms.
Right.
We're cat people. We'll just like,
Yeah.
Bio.
yeah.
We're just gonna do seances
It doesn't
in
matter
the
if
dark
we're
mist.
friends.
Like it's fine.
Like tuck your hands under your body
Yeah.
and you sleep on top of a
Pull
door.
boots.
Honestly, I've slept in a drawer before. It's not a big deal.
You'll get a whole bed.
I don't need
I
a whole
do
bed.
so.
Well, you and Hank can share.
He can just stand in the corner somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know.
He doesn't care.
Grammy not gonna pet you. I don't know.
Sure. You approach the counter, behind which is a half-elven woman, hair pulled up into a bun, kind of dirty blonde in a way that they're like streaks of brown and blonde. It's kind of an odd, seemingly unnatural look.
Like back in the day when chunky highlights were in? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure. I don't know what that means, but yes.
Yeah, not blended well, I think.
Yeah,
is probably
like
the
Right.
way to
just
put
like
it.
blonde, brown,
Yes.
blonde,
Yes.
brown.
Exactly like that, but
uh,
not uniform.
Yeah.
First X-Men movie, was
Rogue?
it Rogue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had like blocks. It was bad.
Every
Kind of, yeah.
babysitter I had.
Yeah.
thought they were
They all
There's a
sucked.
frame of reference that I get. Yes, every babysitter that Sam's ever had. Pulled up into a bun of this strange kind of like striped multicolor bun. Just wearing a simple white blouse with a corset on the outside for some reason.
Yeah.
And green
Underneath.
and a green skirt. Can I help you?
Yeah, could I get 4 rooms and beverages for the table behind me? Referencing the number of humans.
Absolutely.
beings.
Okay, how many of you are there? There's 4 at this table. I'm a grandma and also
Katya
2
and
brothers
Sherry.
and a sister and then another sister. 8 of you total?
Yeah, not including sleeping child.
Yep.
Rad. Okay.
Or Hank.
Or a dead body in a bag.
Yep.
Mom's gonna make dinner. Heads
Nice.
up.
Nice. 8 times 4 is 32, 10. Rooms included and drinks as well. That's going to come out altogether to about 10 gold and 2 silver. It's non-negotiable.
No, I'm not negotiating down. About 3 gold and some information.
Bringing your total to 13 gold?
What did you say? 10 gold? I'm sorry.
10 gold, 2 silver.
Sorry, I misheard everything.
I heard 3.
I'm sorry.
2
sorry.
gold. I heard 2 gold.
I heard 2.
Oh, I meant to say 10.
Uh,
10.
20 gold and some information.
Whoa.
We've got a deal. What is it you're looking to do?
I'm going to have to gather some questions, but if you have anything... does the name Rabbit ring a bell for you?
No?
Good start. That's just the beginning. That's not all the information.
Right. Take your time. I can make myself available.
Our table's over here unless you need
I'll bring the
help
drinks
carrying
by,
anything.
and here's your keys.
Right.
She hands over 4 keys to rooms. They have little wooden toggles on them that are ornately decorated with the same symbol that's on the sign outside
Is
of
it-
the little stump.
Beautiful place, by the way. Like,
Thank you.
The natural elements to it.
Yes. And yeah, there are like interior vines crawling up the walls that almost function as pillars. It's like the foundation, not the foundation, but like the bones of the tavern are
Or
like living
shelves, too.
trees.
Like just like vines like directed to these
Yeah,
shelves.
absolutely.
I love druid cities, man.
So rad.
Do I see like flowers or anything growing?
Yeah.
Can I go pick a couple of different ones real quick?
Yeah, you pluck them off, and as soon as you pluck them off, new ones sprout in their place.
Delightful.
Delightful.
You can decide what type of flowers they are.
Here are the
Okay.
keys. They go to rooms. We could formulate. I asked for some information, paid
Okay.
for it ahead, and the drinks are going to be by.
Okay. Is it actually 902? About 10 years ago, did Geladorn come together and form an alliance to save Mistinor from a silver stake? Is Wiltboom College still a thing? And does she know if Valdwin is still the dean of the Vane?
Maybe she graduated from
Root. Vane?
Valdwin was vain.
Vane.
Those are all good questions to ask.
Realize I have to stand in chairs to be at the table.
They need
you
boosters
can
for
sit on-
halflings and small folk.
Oh,
Or
really?
not
sit on
boosters,
a-
but like there are
No,
taller
I'm just
chairs.
standing
High
anyways.
chairs.
I'm just standing up.
Yeah, there are like taller chairs options with like longer legs and kind of ladders up the back.
You can sit on Hank's lap. He could be like a chair. He can just like hold his hands.
Could I grab a key? I think I'm going to take
Yes,
young
if
Christina to
anyone who
rest.
needs to go up, feel free. I'm just going to ask a couple questions.
I want to
Yeah, I'll
know
hand
about the
over
things.
All the duvets are like, no, we're interested.
I'm just gonna hand off like stuffed animals and dolls that have been handed to me.
Yeah, surprisingly like sturdy. Mia Malma is.
She seemed sturdy.
And she takes the child and all of the
fact
child's
that
things.
nobody who's lived with her was like, no, me mama, you shouldn't go do that thing. Everybody's just like, seems fine actually. She's got to be like a 14th level monk at least.
Yeah.
She's a sturdy lady. She heads upstairs with the child and finds her rest. Eventually,
Lead a rebellion.
Eventually, the hostess comes over with your drinks, sets them out in front of you.
Could you have a seat, or do you need someone to watch the bar?
She kind of leans back and whistles out. She's like, Vasily! Raises a hand, and a young elven man hops over behind the counter and takes over, gives her a thumbs up.
I mean, not to pry, this is of no pressure of any sort. There's no,
We're a little discombobulated,
Yeah,
if you will.
we traveled by means we were not aware of, and
I see.
we've
Is it 902, those servants?
It is.
Okay.
good start.
Good start.
About 10 years ago or so, did Galadorn come through, form an alliance? Was there a fight
She-
for Altanen?
She places reaches into her, she has a couple of bottles in holsters on the side of various liquors. Seems like
Nice.
the well of the bar is
That's fun.
on her belt.
Nice. Well
Leaving that
built.
guy just
Belt vodka. She pops off one of the bottles, pours a shot, and takes it herself, and raises it up. Galadorn. 10 years ago, roundabouts, a coalition was formed. There was a city occupied by cult members that had done quite a bit of damage. A treaty
Okay.
was signed, and the Silver Stake was dealt with. And a number of years later, I think it was 8 years ago now, Galadorn fell ill and passed. And the coalition was then united, dropped to Galadorn's heir, who, and you see she kind of grits her teeth for a moment. You can see the flexing and the tension of her jaw muscles for a moment. And his heir bent the knee to High King Raucus.
Who
I'm
is
sorry,
this?
what was that name?
High King Thaddeus Raucus of Mistinor.
Thaddeus, that's the one from Marsendale, right?
Originally, he was a lord there before the Alliance, I believe. It was his hold.
I can take it that Thaddeus isn't liked.
Not around these parts, no.
And why is that?
She kind of looks around and subconsciously pats the coin purse of the gold that you've handed over, the extra 10 gold that you've given for this information, and she kind of leans in. There are some of us, loyal to House Galadorn, who suspect foul play. That perhaps he didn't simply, Othorion Hervalor Galadorn did not simply fall ill and die. Whether that was Lord Raucus, his son, Lord Raucus, Galadorn's son, or some combination of the two there, working in tandem, is unknown, and it would be best if you didn't speak about this outside of places like this,
Right.
If it's
for your own safety.
Are there other places like this that are safe that you're aware of?
In town, they're few and far between, even further far between in Mossendale to the north. But in most places where you can find downtrodden elves, you can find those still loyal to the memory of Othorion Hervalor Galadorn.
Right. And does, besides the foul play coming to power and whatnot, are there things that he's done as a ruler that have hurt people?
Oh, yes, of course. Where are you lot from?
That is a very complicated question, but we can assume, for
When
the sake of this conversation, that we haven't been here
In 10
in
years.
about a decade.
Right, so you've... Wow.
the tree,
There is
as it is
a...
wilted now, was not our doing, but we were there when it happened. And that was the last time we were here.
She looks thoughtful at that. That's interesting. So you're not aware of the conquest, obviously.
I'd asked about Rabbit earlier. They were tasked with getting
The
the
tree.
coalition started.
I see. I personally have not heard of such a person. There are still, to the north, those who oppose. They call themselves the Free Cities of Mistinor. They oppose the rule of the United Coalition. But ever since the Mistinor Accords, there's been infighting that has mostly been squashed, and High King Raucus has set his views outward. He started by overtaking certain islands that used to be considered part of Mistinor that had been overtaken during the Grimdalian invasion. Most people were on board with that. It was reclamation, if anything. But when he started pressing northward, northeastward, I should say, towards
So that's it?
Windfell,
Northeastward, sorry.
towards Windfell, that's when there started to be some civil unrest amongst the peoples of Mistinor. There are those who are loyalists and swear themselves to the unified Mistinor and its actions, Thaddeus Raucus's, High King Thaddeus Raucus's actions, and there are those who oppose them, some quietly, some quietly. Those who do it louder aren't loud for long.
So, if I understand correctly, there have been attacks on Windfell by Mistinor?
More like skirmishes, but yes. Fort Hornwood, as I hear it, in the west of Windfell, holds strong and acts as a sort of barrier for those seeking to incur upon the lands. Waterdeep has its own defenses in place. It seems, to me at least, I'm no political tactician, but it seems like a foolish place to attempt to conquer.
How long was our exile?
I believe
Was
it
it
was.
10 years?
I believe it was indefinite, wasn't it?
I believe
Oh.
it wasn't.
Hang on, let me find out.
Until somebody forgets that they're mad.
Yeah. How long does that take?
It's funny, it's 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, maybe they need something.
For me, I've never been mad for 10 years. He's right, I've been mad for 10 years. It's happened.
Hot bathrooms, man.
Hot bathrooms.
Still bad.
Still mad.
You don't say. The page is unresponsive. Sorry, give me just a second.
Wowza.
I will say that like Howie, while all this is going on, he like undoes like a thing of tools, gets like the doll, starts like trying to fix the eye, do like mending on it in general.
Oh, make it less horrifying?
Yeah, he takes an
Nice.
empty cup from someone, puts flowers of all like red in there, crushes it up a little
Aw, that's so sweet.
bit. Start like putting a little bit of the like pigment on it to make it look less like scary and dead and whatnot. But
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
She wakes up and she's like, this isn't my fucking doll. This is the one I came back to
It was
life
never her
for.
doll.
Something new to wilt away. I hope it's actually.
I'm pretty sure it was
Cookie.
indefinite.
Yeah. I think we were
Okay.
basically told, like, we'll fucking let you know when you get to be back.
Stay around.
but not here.
Yeah, stay around elsewhere.
About a mile outside of town is fine.
Don't call us.
Well, shit.
We'll bird you.
Well, you called it, I guess.
No, it's
I had a bad feeling about the other one.
no, this one. I've seen it before, but
But I mean, Galador was weird too, right?
all elves of power are weird.
Yeah. Sorry, no offense
Yeah.
to you.
No half offense. The
I feel halfway offended.
oh, what a fucker. It's not. I hate to say I told you so, but it's like how could we have known that it would have been?
We did everything, well, as far as I understand, you did everything that you could to prevent exactly this,
We could
but...
find out more about the illness that seems to be in the air.
So if we went to Galadorn, would we be able to find anybody with information?
Perhaps it would be a dangerous place to poke around. That's where the High King has taken the throne as it stood.
We were on good standings with them
Yeah, he
before we
owes
left.
us.
We moved their treaty about.
So perhaps as long as we don't tip our hand that we're upset in any way.
We don't know if we are. Maybe it was an illness.
Right. But as long as we approach it from the angle as though we're on his side, he might let something slip.
Right.
Well, should we go to the Wilt Bloom is still in existence, right?
The college?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is Valdwin still there? Do you know? Dean of the Bank?
One of the deans, right?
Yes.
Vampire fellow.
Yes.
right.
Always
so.
busy.
All right. So
Maybe he hired some people. Maybe he's less busy now. It's been 10 years.
That's like a second for them. I don't even know how time works.
I think we should either head there and try to talk to Valdwin and or Noy and or the one that was all, they were trying to fix him up.
Oh right, your mother's friend.
Roscoe Sampson?
Roscoe.
Oh, that one too. Yeah. I thought you meant the little one.
Oh no.
He took over the other dean position, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Dean?
So we either do that or we
Like
try
college
to
deans?
see if we can get in contact with Rabbit somehow, because she may have more knowledge on exactly how everything went down.
Right.
If she's alive somewhere.
Are there
I'm
horses?
just gonna take a quick step out of the room.
Are there horses or
Have you
carts to
noticed
hire?
that Alma and Rabbit have never been at the same place at the same time?
Yes, there's a stable of animated carts
Oh,
in town.
Right, they still
like
do those.
those.
Yeah.
Right. Most people find their travel along the King's Road, but there are places that are still hard to reach.
so if you had it your way, what would happen to turn things around?
If I had it my way,
Yes.
Be as cautious as you feel.
the cities of Mistinor would remain not united as one entity, but would have
As
their
allies.
their own separate holds as allies. They'd stop trying to push their borders further outward and instead cultivate what they've already got here,
Okay.
if I had things my way.
What is the name of this place?
This town?
Yes.
This is Gandru.
You don't get any pressure from Mossendale?
A bit, but we provide them with most of their grains and food stores these days. So
Is there anywhere nearby that you would deem safe to, I don't know, set up a Mima in a cabin where she'd be like fine for a little while?
I mean, this is a lovely village.
Great. What's the cost of
You're trying to pawn this kid off, aren't you?
We're gonna bring a Mima and a kid with us to revolutionize?
You're trying to set up a home in the first place we go to, not even going to compare the shopping? There's a college
Silas.
that a child...
I don't know, we could bring them to the college, but who knows what it's like to to get to the college. I'm just making suggestions. I'm trying to get prices on a hut in the village.
You're going for
I
the
would
first thing you see because it looks
Silas,
kind of...
that maybe you let Genevieve know that you found your mother. And maybe we put mother and child on a ship to Genevieve, the estate, where she can, have more family around.
In fairness, that might not be a good idea right now if ships from Mistinor are currently attacking Windfell.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of... You know anything
I
of
mean, not like
embargoes
passenger
or any
ships.
import-export that has been interrupted
If they're
because of the
touchy.
attacks?
That's outside of my tax
I
bracket.
figured as
Right,
much, no
that's
offense.
fair.
I'm simply a humble tavern keeper.
I say the college would be best because it's a college and is a more established place, no offense.
None taken. I'm going to get back to work unless you have any more questions.
No, thank you very much. Let me know if
Does
that
this look creepy to you?
make a tinkering check.
Okay.
So roll a d20 and add your intelligence, and if you have tinkering tools
I do.
or proficiency in such,
I should.
Nice.
So just straight intelligence and then add.
Proficiency.
yeah, if you're proficient with tinkerer's tools.
That is hot.
That's
Yeah, I was like pointing to the sky.
15 and then 5, and it'd be intelligence plus proficiency, right?
Yes,
25.
25.
nice.
Looks lovely. Looks adorable.
Oh, does the eye blink right?
You like lean it back. Yes, maybe a bit sluggish on the left, but okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, thanks for all your help, and we'll do our best to make your dreams come true. Miss Walkers. Good night.
Yeah, oh, right.
Is that what we're doing now? We'll try our best to make your dreams come true, Mistwalkers.
You don't have to... You don't have to stay... you don't have to stay for this part. We're just arguing. Good day,
Right,
Morrow.
I'm going to go
Morning.
relieve Vasily. Enjoy it. Let us know if there's anything else
Oh,
you
what
need.
was your name?
My name is Bren.
Bryn?
Yes.
Okay. Cholula.
Silas, Miss Walker.
Silas Mistwalker.
I guess I'm on the Mistwalker. I think.
Oh, Miss Walker.
Just Sally.
Nice to meet all of you. All the duvets are just like, we're the duvet family.
I look off into the distance.
They'll have like
Mistwalker.
matching hats and t-shirts.
Howie Mistwalker now.
We've got our groove back.
Right? That was a bad.
That was
See,
a
that's
bad
why I
goodbye.
mentioned like program a bad goodbye
Bad
because
goodbye.
this is what they. This is what always happens.
You know what
for
leaves a
us,
lasting
really.
impression? Super awkward moments.
As you introduce Howie to you, the patented Mistwalker bad goodbye.
Yeah.
And and Bren goes back to work. You find yourselves in Mistinor once again within the heart of Kavora, but 10 years in the future. And we'll explore the implications of that in our next episode. But until then, stay safe
safe
out
out
there,
there,
adventurers.
adventurers.